Environment represents the five sensory world, or as Neville puts it, some of the elements represent the world of Caesar. The world of Caesar is reactivity to elements in the outer world that appear to deny the assumption or the belief and conviction that whatever you desire to create will be brought forth into reality. The truth is that most of who we are is a result of the experiences that we've had in environments. Different circumstances, different relationships, different experiences, and even the surroundings shape who we are and create what we call a self-image. Upon deeper reflection, we realize that this self-image can be changed. It can be evolved. It can be brought into alignment with the ideal outcome that we desire to create. In other words, be in alignment with the desired outcome. Now, this is done at a subconscious level through affirmation, through impressing the subconscious mind with imagination, and also utilizing the affirmation of environment, because this is how the programming was instilled in the first place. There's only really 4 modalities that I use when it comes to working with my subconscious mind. Number 1 would be self-talk, the conversations that I have with myself, and we are always engaging in conversation with ourselves, and this is happening in different environments. You are always assuming and believing reality to work from a certain perspective. The meaning that you give to people, environment, circumstance, and information creates and recreates people, environment, circumstance, and information. We have the power to evolve the meaning, the beliefs, the assumptions within, done through the imagination, to externalize as the reflection in people, environment, circumstance, and information. We also have the ability to go in and revise. Watch the video that I did on pruning shears of revision with Neville Goddard. We have the ability to reflect upon each day and go in and change the meaning, the beliefs that we have associated, and even past beliefs from past experiences in our life, to evolve this self-image to be more in alignment with what we desire to create. We also can evolve our self-image to be more in alignment with our vision, or our definite chief aim, through subconscious mind audios and affirmations. The 4th piece is environment. Environment can be one of the most powerful ways to affirm the programming that we want or the end result. There are certain environments that empower you, and there are certain environments where you feel disempowered. There are certain environments that feel facilitating and encouraging, and there's certain environments that feel restrictive. Much of who we were prior to understanding our ability to go into our subconscious mind and evolve the programming is a result of being an effect of programming, not realizing how the people, environment, circumstance, and information was influencing us, creating a self-image. As we rise up in our awareness and consciousness to be able to see the reflection in the outer world and track it back to the cause within, we begin to value the concept of environment, thus evolving our environment, changing our environment, or reassociating, recreating meaning, or revising our environment to be in alignment with who we desire to be or what we desire to create. So what I've done is I've taken 4 important quotes here from Neville to discuss 4 concepts and dimensionalize it with the different ways of leveraging, working with, and affirming environment to be supportive and harmonious with what you desire to create. One of my favorite concepts from Neville is living in the end. He says, many people, including myself, have observed events before they have occurred. That is, before they occurred in the world of 3 dimensions. Since man can observe an event before it occurs in the 3 dimensions of space, life on Earth must proceed according to plan, and this plan must exist somewhere in another dimension and be slowly moving through our space. Living in the end is really an affirmation on the subconscious mind because most of reality is created by the subconscious mind. It is to affirm the subconscious mind through self-talk, through revision, through visualization, through affirmation, and through environment, which was what we're going to be focusing on in these elements to reflect. Gears the mind to what can be done through accurate thinking is one of the revelations of an encouraging environment. So, accurate thinking, it's a higher level of positive thinking. When we look at our end result and we see what we want to create, and we begin to move down a bridge of incidents, we begin to associate meaning called positivity or negativity, or empowering or disempowering. What is in harmony with the end result will be experienced as positive thinking, or affirmation, or empowering thinking. This information is very valuable to us because this can be the accurate way of creating what we desire. What might be empowering for you might even be disempowering for another person. The key is to reflect upon what you experience in different environments and choose the environments that facilitate the accurate thinking. In other words, stimulus and reflection that you can create what you desire, reveals to you the different insights and perspectives, and even observe the environmental changes, which brings me to my second point, stimulating synchronicities to create what you desire. What are synchronicities? Well, synchronicities are meaningful coincidences. They might be meaningful to you, but they might not be meaningful to anyone else. An environment that is in alignment and facilitates your moving in the direction of your definite chief aim or your desired outcome is riddled with synchronicities or signs. And this could be something in the outer world or an interpretation within, more accurately, of something in the outer world that inspires you or makes you feel a certain way. And these synchronicities could be recurring in nature, could be certain numbers or certain signs. These elements are externalized by the subconscious mind to reveal to you that you are on the right path to creating what you desire. What you'll find is that if you're in an encouraging environment or an environment that is in alignment and on the pathway to creating what you desire, is that you will notice more synchronicities. Now, when I'm referring to environment, I'm referring to this in a broad sense. We're talking about the places that we live, the environments that we work in, the location that we choose to be on a day-to-day basis. Certain environments stimulate the synchronicities. Certain environments stimulate the accurate thinking. It's important to reflect upon these environments because although we are in the process of constantly evolving every environment to be in harmony, some environments will be more facilitating than others. Some environments might seem more chaotic than others. And if it's the end result that we want to create, then we want to assimilate what is encouraging and stimulating on our subconscious mind in harmony with our definite chief aim or our desired outcome. And this awareness is found through how we interpret and how we experience via the 5 senses the environment. If it's not in alignment, we experience something called world of Caesar, reactivity to past programming, which what we can do then is evolve that past programming through visualization or imagination to not have that reactivity to the environment if we want to. This may or may not be the thing you want to do, but the answer is really found within your inner voice, which brings me to my third point. Facilitates your inner voice connection to infinite intelligence. The concept of infinite intelligence may have a totally different meaning to me than it does to you. And if you communicate with different people, you'll find that they all have a different meaning to the concept of infinite intelligence. That's because there are infinite ways of bringing forth an outcome. There may appear some common ways, and similar individuals who have taken the same common ways to create the end result, and we might make an assumption that those ways that have been created are the only ways to create what we desire or the outcome. But we have to remember that there is infinite possibilities, infinite ways to creating the outcome. What we're really looking for is the right way for you. And that's found through the inner voice conversation with infinite intelligence. Watch the last video I did on inner voice conversation with infinite intelligence. I'll put a link in the description. An environment that is nurturing, uplifting, and encouraging facilitates your inner voice connection. Reflect back on your life and observe, take inventory of the different environments that stimulated and facilitated your inner voice connection. What you will notice is that in those environments, you had hunches, inspirations, ideas, accurate thinking that revealed that what you desired to create was in the process of becoming. Number 4, allows for authentic creative expression. Now, this is really powerful for entrepreneurs because I deal a lot with the entrepreneurial space. What we're really looking to do is create entrepreneurial success from our higher self. In other words, the way that I created entrepreneurial success may not be the way that is in alignment with how you really want to create entrepreneurial success. If you desire to create entrepreneurial success, then you can create entrepreneurial success, and this is done by facilitating your inner voice connection, which will reveal your creative expression, which may be a service or a product to others that is based on your unique talents or your fascination or your conversation with infinite intelligence that reveals the needs that occurs in the outer world, in other words, people looking to buy, that is right for you. And not just the needs and what to create, but the how to create. That's also facilitated in certain environments. And this will be your authentic creative expression. Number 5, a heightened sense of awareness of how it will be so. When you are in an environment, when you are in the presence of information or people, we call this the mastermind. Watch the video I did on mastermind. I'll put a link in the description. You have a heightened sense of awareness of how to bring forth your definite chief aim. Ideas, hunches, and inspirations and affirmations and synchronicities, again, will be revealed. And as a result, you're able to cross-reference these outer world elements via the 5 sensory data to the inner world 6th sense and understand it from a perspective that will be unique to you. This is also your conversation with infinite intelligence. Number 6, encourages intuitiveness and creative thinking as one. Intuitiveness and creative thinking as one. Creative thinking, the mind, the imagination, that's what creates reality. Intuitiveness is the how it will be brought forth. It's the faith of how it will be brought forth. It's the inner voice conversation with infinite intelligence. Again, certain environments stimulate these intuitive understandings, and certain environments may appear to bring noise and confusion within. It's important to realize that on the journey, as you release the programming that may have been experienced to deny the intuitive connection in certain environments, that it's okay to step away from certain environments that don't facilitate that intuitive connection and move into environments that stimulate it until you have evolved yourself to be in an environment that once broke the intuitive connection, so it appeared because of the meaning we gave to whatever 5 sensory data is in that environment. But as a result of your evolution, your self-realization, and cause and effect reflection, You'll be able to then find your intuitiveness and creative thinking in that environment. All of this discussion is not designed to tell you what environment is right for you. All of this discussion is not designed to tell you the people, what the environment looks like, what country it is in. It is designed to help you stimulate the insights and perspectives of revealing, cross-referencing in all environments, so you can choose the environments that facilitate, and you can understand the environments that appear to not facilitate the meaning that is assigned from the world within, which is the subconscious meaning, which is usually based on past programming that we've assimilated along our journey. The second important element is the evolution of current self. So living in the end and the evolution, as in the journey to the end result, the bridge of incidence. Neville says all changes take place in consciousness. The future, although prepared in every detail in advance, has several outcomes. At every moment of our lives, we have before us a choice of which of several futures we will choose. It may be hard to believe, but all of creation is complete and all possibilities exist right now. And we move through a bridge of incidence to externalize the exact and ideal outcome when we live in the end, and cause and effect reflect on the journey of what shows up and what we react to, so that we can stay in the pathway that is the most in alignment to creating what you desire. I always say this. There's fundamentally two ways of, and I'll speak again about the entrepreneurial space, creating success in entrepreneurship. One is from a place of frustration and stress. The other, on the extreme end, is one from a place of joy, bliss, and ease. What you're going to find is joy, bliss, and flow and ease is going to be a direction that is most in alignment with your higher self, who you are destined to be. There's your current self and then your higher self. And one of our goals when we create success is not only to bring forth the success, but to evolve ourselves so that we can create future definite chief aims, goals, and in the context of entrepreneurship, businesses that are far more in alignment with our higher self, so that we can then have that journey which facilitates that end result to be one that is in harmony, because it is in alignment and not one where we're forcing and changing outer world elements just to create the outcome. We're talking about real power here versus force. All of this happens on the journey, and this is how we evolve ourselves. Watch the video that I did on creating success using the levels of consciousness and emotional guidance scale. What we're really doing is observing a reaction to five sensory data and reprogramming the meaning that we assign to the five sensory data if it appears to be reactive or cause reactivity within us. And when I say reactivity to us, it's really the reactivity within. We're assigning the meaning within. All of this is assigned meaning from the subconscious mind within. And what we want to do is change the meaning if it is in alignment with the higher self. Because the truth is this: you could change whatever meaning you want to anything that shows up on the journey. However, if you change the meaning of something, and it's there for a reason to be that meaning, and it's really a matter of tuning into your inner voice to determine if you should be changing the meaning, then that may have some side effects later on, which you'll have to address because it is steering off the course of your higher self. So the journey is about evolving yourself and creating what you desire, and also the evolution of the current self into the higher self by observing what meaning has been assigned to five sensory data, as in the outer world, people, environment, circumstance, and information, that is not in alignment with the higher self, and changing that meaning within, knowing that that meaning within that appeared to create this outer world attachment or binding or anger or any of the lower levels of the emotional guidance scale is really past versions of yourself that is trying to manifest again. And we want to do is release those versions of ourselves. And we do this through cause and effect reflection. And where are we reflecting? Well, we are reflecting within, and we are observing the environment. So then what happens is that upon reflecting on the environment, we change our consciousness within, and then the environment changes. So an environment that encourages a dialogue with your inner voice is one that is going to reveal to you a lot of optimization information about the different aspects that happen to you on your journey to creating success. And these different aspects can be reflected upon at the end of the day, and through revision, you can evolve the meaning that you assign to these aspects to bring yourself into a self-image that is in alignment with the higher self. And good environments encourage this. The next is number 8, revelation of resources and opportunities within awareness. Watch the video I did recently where I reflected upon elements from the Kabbalion in which I talk about resourcefulness and opportunities. And it's the realization that we have everything we need as far as resources and opportunities to create whatever we desire to create, and it's all within our awareness. What we have to do is raise our level of consciousness so that we can see it and understand it within the awareness. And this is because everything that could possibly ever exist exists right now in this moment. And our perspective reveals it. So what we're really doing is evolving perspective. And there's infinite perspectives, and then there is perspectives that are in harmony with your higher self and in harmony with the desired outcome. Environments help us find these perspectives because upon reflection of the outer world, you can evaluate your perspectives. Number 9, releases tension and pent-up emotions. One of the things that we want to remember is that we want to navigate this reality to creating what we desire from a place of flow and ease, because that's what's going to bring us, as far as awareness goes, into an understanding of what we react to. When a person is tense and has a lot of pent-up emotions, they polarize themselves to different 5 sensory data in the environment that causes them to identify further, affirming whatever meaning into the subconscious mind and maintaining that current self-image rather than evolving it into the higher self. Environments that are designed to encourage and facilitate your desired outcome will help you release the tension and pent-up emotions by bringing them into awareness. Simply put, these environments that encourage you don't stress you out, bring you into a place of flow, and are not experienced as overwhelming chaos. Now, some chaos is actually good because I believe that chaos reveals to us about ourselves. However, an excessive amount of chaos, and we can become overwhelmed by it. We want a certain amount of chaos, and I call this controlled chaos, perhaps if you desire, and you don't have to, because really, if you are also about evolving yourself, then you want to know what shows up and what causes us to identify the meaning of chaos to the environment. 2 individuals, one can deal perhaps in an environment of chaos and find a great degree of bliss and flow. Take another individual who has maybe meaning that they have assimilated from their past experiences and assigned it to the same environment, and they'll call it chaos. And they'll feel overwhelmed by it. Facilitates an ever-evolving sense of integrity. Now, the outer world's a reflection of the inner world. Our relationship with others, environment, circumstance, and information reveals the relationship that we have with ourselves. And what we're looking to create is a sense of integrity. I know why this exists in my environment. It is here because it has to be here. It is part of the journey. It is a sign. It is a contribution. It is who I am. Versus, I don't know why this exists in my environment, and I choose not to find out why. I rather ignore it. Well, that's really a choice. But when you operate from a higher degree of integrity, you're able to reveal via your inner voice and conversation with infinite intelligence the cause and effect relationship with the outer world 5 sensory data element. This can be really useful for evolving self. Now we're talking about evolving self here, and if part of your journey and goal is to evolve yourself, then we want to understand why everything exists in our environment. Experience a forward-moving, number 11, momentum in flow, in calm faith and confidence in the outcome. So flow, watch the few videos that I did on flow, I'll put links in the description, is about momentum. Flow is where challenge meets skill. Also, as you rise up in skill, you evolve yourself and you experience a heightened degree of calm faith and confidence in circumstances or environments that would be experienced once as chaos and now are experienced as part of the journey and enjoyable, blissful. Simply put, some environments in the beginning of your journey may be experienced as extremely challenging and frustrating. You may then move into a different environment and evolve yourself because that environment is a lot more facilitating of these elements. And then actually go back to the previous environment and find that you're able to have the momentum and flow in the previous environment. Do you stay in the environment or do you go into another environment? That's really a matter of the inner voice conversation with infinite intelligence. And one of the keys to remember is certain environments reveal to you the decision. So knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. And one of the greatest sources of wisdom is our inner voice, the connection with infinite intelligence. And timeless wisdom will always reveal about the importance of being in empowering and encouraging environments that facilitate the inner voice conversation. This is why when we experience a over-identification with 5 sensory data in a certain environment, we step away, we go for a walk, or we go into a certain place where we can experience these elements that I'm talking about, and then we know what to do. Facilitates harmonious conversations, mental conversations. That's the third category. One of the ways of looking at this is entire interaction between us and the outer world is a conversation, a mental conversation. How we believe reality to work and how we assume reality to work is revealed in the outer world, and it is identified through our association, through our mental conversations. If we choose environments that facilitate harmonious mental conversations, then we're going to see more harmony and experience more harmony on our bridge of incidence and reveal to us about ourselves the distinctions and elements that we can evolve by choosing certain kinds of experiences, certain kinds of information, certain kinds of people and relationships, and this is discovered in certain kinds of environments. Neville says the most remarkable feature of man's future is its flexibility. It is determined by his attitudes rather than his acts. The cornerstone on which all things are based is man's concept of himself. He acts as he does and has the experiences that he does because his concept of himself is what it is, and for no other reason. Had he a different concept of self, he would act differently. The mental conversations, what we say when we talk to ourselves, reveals the concept of ourself. And what we're really looking for is a conversation and mental stimulus with our inner voice connection with infinite intelligence to affirm the higher self, which is in alignment with the desired outcome. Certain environments encourage, stimulate, and reveal elements about ourselves through this inner mental conversation. We're able to rise above, have a heightened degree of awareness of the mental conversation and observe it as it occurs, and change it and evolve it. When we're in flow, we have a greater ability to do this. When we're overwhelmed by chaos, because we experience certain environments as chaos, it may be harder to do this. This is important as you reveal what is right for you. Again, this is not designed to tell you what environment, what people, and what circumstance is right for you, but rather to reveal what happens in certain environments that facilitate certain mental conversations that are in harmony and certain mental conversations that are not in harmony, knowing that the mental conversations affirm the self-image that represent the mental conversations, and the self-image is revealed through the mental conversations. So thus number 12, reveals to you about yourself. Circumstance reveals to us about ourselves, as James Allen once put it in As a Man Thinketh. People reveal to us about ourselves, and environment reveals to us about ourselves. If the environment is not in harmony, and you bring it into harmony on your journey, and you have a desire to bring it into harmony, then you are also noticing an evolution of yourself. Stimulates inspired action. So one of the things that can happen on this journey is we can feel stuck, overwhelmed by complexity, feel like we don't know what to do. The truth is that we always know what to do, and the answer is found within our inner voice. Sometimes it's a certain action. Sometimes it's to do nothing, which is also an action, really. Action through inaction. All that information is found within your inner voice, in your mental conversations, with infinite intelligence, as well as environments that facilitate knowing the difference. Number 14, stimulates ideas for problem solving and overcoming obstacles. So whatever shows up in the outer world, as far as the label of problem, is actually an opportunity. Whatever shows up as the appearance as an obstacle is also an opportunity. We can leverage the existing resources and also the opportunities that we have, and whatever we have within our awareness, to overcome those problems and obstacles through creative thinking, which is stimulated by the environment many times, and also the world within, your inner environment, to reveal how so through creative thinking. Certain environments facilitate this. Action and awareness becomes one. When you're in the right environment, you're in an environment of harmony, what you'll notice is that what you do, what you think, what you say is in alignment, more so with your higher self. We call this feeling at home. And feeling at home with the evolution on the journey to creating what you desire of both creating the outcome and also evolving yourself. So thus, point number 16, facilitates higher degree of flow. So flow is where challenge meets skill. The challenges can seem overwhelming, or the challenges, as mentioned earlier in point number 14, the problems and obstacles, can seem exciting, can feel exciting. This is a lot of times facilitated by the environment. Certain environments bring us into flow, and we are more embracing of our challenges. And what are the challenges? I'm not speaking about outer world challenges or outer world obstacles or problems. I'm speaking about the world within. The recognition that, as Neville says, when you change your consciousness, that's where the change really occurs that is lasting. Otherwise, we're trying to change the outer world, and we're just band-aiding the solution. All change, lasting change, takes place in consciousness. Once consciousness has changed, the outer world circumstance, bridge of incidents, everything reflects the consciousness change. And we have a greater ability to evolve our consciousness in certain environments. This is why, simply put, we choose to meditate in certain environments that are quiet and that facilitate the inner conversation. Well, my reflection upon this matter is that certain environments that I work in, certain environments that I enjoy my day-to-day life in, also facilitate a higher degree of flow and inner voice conversation outside of the meditation. Thus, if it's success or whatever it is that I desire to create, I ensure to the best of my ability that I continue to bring into alignment an ideal outer world that reflects the inner world. And if I see misalignments, I'm going to change my consciousness within and observe as the outer world changes. Change my meaning through revision, through subconscious mind audios, through mental conversations or self-talk, or through consciously moving into a different environment. And then finally, our fourth category here encourages imagination. So we know imagination creates reality. If we believe and have faith in our imagination and we trust our imagination over the five sensory data, then the imagination will be externalized through a bridge of incidents to reflect itself in the infinite potential that we call reality, outer world. Neville says, a little practice will convince us that we can, by controlling our imagination, reshape our future in harmony with our desire. See, we can fundamentally do it two ways. We can control our imagination by impressing our subconscious mind audios, revision, self-talk, which impresses our subconscious mind via our imagination. Or we could do it by changing our environment to facilitate the imagination, knowing that that's how we assimilated the programming in the first place. A lot of times in earlier stages of the journey, we're not conscious enough to know how we are being impressed by the information in the outer world, which we call environment, five sensory data. Certain environments encourage our imagination and stimulate our imagination with creative ideas. Again, referring to the entrepreneurial example, there's success, there's the end result, and there's certain environments that stimulate our imagination and creativity to create the entrepreneurial success in ways that are unique to us, that is in alignment with our higher self, that is authentic. Number 17, an ever-increasing sense of peace and well-being. When you choose an environment that has a heightened degree of peace and well-being, you are choosing the affirmation that you are a being of peace and well-being. In other words, the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. And through affirmation and reprogramming and releasing past elements that denied peace and well-being, you'll notice that you will gravitate and be in environments that are affirming and are experienced as an increased sense of peace and well-being. Number 18, affirms your affirmations in a state of being right now. All of reality is an affirmation of what is within your subconscious mind, externalized. And it is either reaffirming, and we are identifying, or we are cross-referencing the beliefs and assumptions we are associating with the five sensory data, and we are evolving the meaning within. So when we consciously choose the environment that is in alignment with the ideal outcome or the affirmation, what we'll notice is that the synchronicities will appear because we're combining it. We are affirming the subconscious mind with not just the inner world elements, but the outer world elements as well. And we'll know the difference. Number 19, brings forth a higher degree of energy from within. Certain environments drain us. Certain environments energize us. This is a very important clue for determining whether or not we are in an ideal environment. Number 20, prepares you for environments that may not feel in alignment with the affirmations to rewrite the meaning. In other words, if most of your existence is in an environment that facilitates your higher self, evolves your programming to be in alignment with evolution of yourself and your definite chief aim, then if you find yourself in an environment that is not in alignment, you experience more so a contrast. And as a result, you can observe yourself, make decisions, and not identify with the five sensory data or the world of Caesar because your default state is in alignment with your imagination. And the number 21, facilitates a heightened degree of purpose and direction. See, this is one of the most important elements because what we really want to feel and know is that we are on purpose and direction to the realization of the definite chief aim. And I also recommend really reflecting upon this idea that I've discovered on my journey upon creating success in many areas of my life, is valuing the destination and the journey as one. In other words, most of your time is in the environment. And there's certain environments that facilitate a sense of purpose, and that purpose really is faith and confidence in the outcome, and a sense of direction. And if most of your time is going to be in the journey, and the end result is perhaps just a moment, then it's important to value and see the journey and the destination as one, because then life becomes more joyous. So then choosing environments that facilitate a higher degree of purpose and direction towards a definite chief aim, that has the synchronicities, that has the different elements that I'm talking about here, these 21 elements, as experience, as in you experience these elements, what you're going to find is you're going to enjoy the journey and realize that most of whatever held you back was really identification to 5 sensory data based on past programming, which we call disempowering programming, which is usually affirmed by environments that are not in harmony. And if you find yourself in environments that are not in harmony, because most of the time you're in an environment of harmony, you're able to a higher degree, see the contrast. Write that information down, use one of the subconscious mind methods that I refer to, and evolve the programming within to be in alignment. And what you'll find is that you won't necessarily consciously choose the environment that is in alignment. You'll find yourself automatically, autotelically in the environment that is in alignment with your definite chief aim. If you want to copy this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.